Hi, my name is Kim Hofstra, and tonight I'd like to talk to you about Smith's book, Learning from the Stranger, Chapter 4, on Loving Foreigners. Smith begins this chapter by sharing the story of the Good Samaritan. Now, this is a Bible story that I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with, so let me explain why. I love this story in the fact that it exemplifies how we are to love our neighbors as ourselves and to lend a hand to those that are in need. However, I'm heartbroken over this story in the fact that it takes 3 people to walk by this man that has been badly beaten and hurt before someone is willing to give that helping hand. It's made clear through this story that our neighbor is not the person that lives next door to us or someone that lives within our community or someone that looks like us, but that rather a neighbor refers to everyone. And this can be a very challenging command that Jesus gives to us when he says that we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. Smith goes on to explain that love does not mean in a romantic manner or necessarily even that you need to like a person, but rather that it's important that we as Christians are willing to help others and to extend ourselves and to be what he calls considerate responsiveness. Jesus gives us 2 biblical commands in the book of Matthew. The first is the golden rule in Matthew 7, verse 12, which says, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you." For this sums up the law and the prophets. Then in Matthew 22, Jesus tells us, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Smith reminds us with these words that what should be desired for others and for others is that which leads to the joyful well-being that expresses the kingdom of God. We need to be very careful to guard against our own selfish best interest when helping others. Finally, Smith concludes the chapter to talk about the importance of showing compassion and not being condescending. We must remember to keep the attitude of hospitality rather than treating others as being needy. There should be a willingness on our part to be in relationship with one another versus taking the role of helper. As a classroom teacher in a culturally diverse school setting, I desired for all of my students to feel valued and appreciated. Some of the ways that I unfolded them into our classroom environment was to learn their names and to get them to know them on a personal level. For our student of the week, I went beyond just asking the basic questions of your favorite color and animal and those sorts of questions, but I desired to know more about their cultural background. So I asked about what some of their favorite family traditions were, if they had any special meals that they did together or foods that they appreciated, and to be able to show us on a map where they were from. And things like this, in order that we could all build a community together and learn about one another in a way that was appropriate for young children. I believe that a theory that could apply to loving foreigners would be Pohl's 4 practices of living in community, that this can be a helpful guide for cultivating meaningful relationships with our neighbors. Thank you.